As we get into Miami, very, very talented football team coming off a 10-win season. They're well coached. I got a lot of respect for Coach Cristobal through our previous conversations that we've had in the past, and just seeing the success that he's had in terms of acquiring talent, developing that talent, and really producing a extremely good football team. And so I think as I watch them, they're probably, developed a little bit like I view our teams in terms of being O-line, D-line driven. Their offensive line returning 4 starters, and they got the center that transferred in from TCU who has experience. Their D-line, I think, the number 3 and number 4, Bain, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but 3 and 4 are as good as you'll see coming off the edge. They'll move them inside. The depth of their D-line is impressive. And then you got Carson Beck, who is as experienced, talented, played in big games as anybody will see, as any quarterback in the country. We obviously evaluated him tremendously last year as we got ready for Georgia, and he is a extremely good quarterback and makes good decisions, fast decisions. And so I won't foresee them taking a step back offensively. And, their skill on both sides will be as explosive as we'll see. They have a lot of young guys in the wide receivers room, but then they've gotten some experienced transfers. And then defensively in their DB's room, I think they have about 6 transfers, but experienced. One of their corners is a freshman All-American. That's a good player. And, the running backs room's deep. I can go through their whole roster. We've had plenty of time to really evaluate that team. And so it's going to be a great challenge for our program, week 1. We've spent some time really looking at the rivalry of this game, which dates back to, I think, 1955, looking at some of the great wins by Notre Dame, but also some of the defeats. We were 0-6 the last 6 times we played down there. And so we know the challenge. We've been to Hard Rock Stadium, but the environment we know will be completely different than it was for the Orange Bowl. And so we'll be prepared for that. And we know the challenge that is at hand. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Starting on the right side, Tom Noy.
Marcus, from what you know about your football team, what kind of confidence does it give you that whatever challenge they're going to see Sunday night, they'll be able to answer it?
Yeah, I'm confident we will. You put each side of the ball in challenging situations in training camp to see how it responds. I'm confident in our leadership. I'm confident in our coaches to make the adjustments necessary to any week 1 game that you're going to have. And so, I think as you look at both sides of the ball, there is some similarities in terms of some of the things we do offensively and some of the things their offense coordinator has done in the past. And same thing defensively. There are some similarities, but it's going to be a game of adjustments. I think you're going to have to be able to take care of the football, right? And on defense, you got to try to create some takeaways. We want to be able to run the ball and stop the run. We know that. I think that's an offense that runs the ball well, and we got to stop the run. And we're going to have to make our adjustments, but I'm confident we will.
You've had 2 very experienced quarterbacks before this in Sam and Riley. Now you go into a game, you alluded to it with Carson Beck, where you don't have the quarterback experience advantage. I'm curious what goes into game planning for a game like that, and maybe how you're treating it a little bit differently now than when you had Riley.
Yeah, you're going to, Riley had some growing pains, but you're going to have some growing pains with any first-time starter. And we have to understand that. We can't expect the quarterback, CJ, to be perfect. We know there are some ups and downs that come with that position, that come with being a first-time starter. We got to protect him. We got to protect him in the pass game, right, in terms of our O-line, but also protect him in the decisions we have him make. We can't put too much on his plate. because he's got to be able to handle the environment. He's got to be able to handle the crowd noise. He's got to be able to handle being his first game versus a big-time opponent. We've got to be able to run the ball. Like, that's something that we know we have to be able to do. And defensively, we got to be able to help our quarterback. We got to get takeaways. We got to be really good on defense and, make sure this isn't a shootout.
Marcus, it's sort of become routine for you to start a season on the road against a ranked opponent. What do you get out of a test like that at the start of a season that maybe you don't with maybe some lesser opponents?
Yeah, I remember kind of talking about this last year, and that you're guaranteed 12, and to overlook any opponent is a disservice to the game of football, and our players would never do that. But when you have a huge matchup Sunday night versus a great opponent, I think it raises the anticipation. There's no lack of motivation. I hope there never is, but, especially when you play an opponent like Miami on the road, our guys are extremely driven, focused, motivated, and hopefully more than anything, you have some great practices as you lead up to that game.
Tyler sort of referenced the starting on the road a lot. It's actually all you know since you've been at Notre Dame, going all the way back to your defensive coordinator season. Like, this is the 5th year in a row that Notre Dame has opened away from home. Is there anything you particularly like about that or relish? Is it something, I know you're not controlling it, but is it something that you've gotten to at this point that you maybe embrace it?
I embrace it.
Or is Pete mad at you?
I embrace it. If you're asking would I rather start at home, I think you always would rather play at home no matter when you get the opportunity. But, there's something about going on the road, man. It's you against the world. It's, your group, right? There's no distractions. It's just you guys. And you're taking your show on the road and versus a great opponent at night. What a way to start college football season. It's something we enjoy, we embrace. That's what you go to Notre Dame for. That's why you come to coach at Notre Dame, to play in games like this throughout the year, but especially week 1. Night game, prime time, everybody's watching you versus a heck of an opponent. That's what any competitor wants.
Hey, Coach. As you prepare to face Miami's offense, obviously you've seen Beck play at Georgia, and you've seen what Miami did last year with another very talented quarterback. I'm sure how you weigh one versus the other as you try to anticipate what you think they might do. And you mentioned adjustments, but are they perhaps more important in game this week than normal?
Yeah. Listen, Carson Beck is as good as I've seen when, scouting an opponent. Cam Ward is, you gotta remind yourself, like, okay, you're watching the scheme, but I think they're probably different in terms of what type of quarterback. They both got great arms. They both make good decisions. Carson Beck can escape if he needs to, but they have some people last year that's not on their team this year, and so part of how you game plan, a big part of it is schematics. Right, in terms of what you're going to see schematically and how you can defend or attack it schematically. But the second part of that is one-on-one mismatches. You're going to try to create a mismatch so your guy can beat the opponent. And so that's the challenge, where you're looking at the Miami film for scheme, but not everybody is going to be there this first game. And so they're going to do what they do. Right? Like, at the end of the day, your identity offensively is your identity. But you're also going to make sure that you play to the strengths of your personnel. And so we have to be able to have a plan for what we think we'll see schematically, but also really after the first series or two, be able to adapt to say, okay, what is this offense trying to do to the defense?